My husband hid $2,400 from me. A secret bank account, monthly transfers, for a whole year. While our son wore shoes with holes, while I wore the same 3 shirts because I couldn't afford new ones. When I found out, I was devastated, betrayed, furious. But here's the thing, mijo. I was hiding $3,200 from him. This is a story about secrets, the ones we keep from each other and the ones we keep for ourselves. And it's a story about what happens when the truth finally comes out and whether love can survive it. It was March 2009. I was 33 years old. Javier was 39. We had been married for 14 years. We had 2 children. Miguel was 13. Sophia was 11. We were building a life. A small life, but it was ours. I was cleaning out Javier's truck. He had asked me to find his work gloves. I looked in the glove compartment. There were papers, folded, hidden under the registration and insurance. Bank statements from an account I did not know existed. I unfolded them. I saw transactions every month, $200, wire transfer to Jalisco, Mexico, to his mother. I stood there in the driveway. The Texas sun was hot. My hands were shaking. I counted the statements. 12 months, 12 transfers, $2,400. We did not have $2,400 to spare. Let me tell you what our life looked like in 2009. Javier worked construction. Good days, bad days. When it rained, no work. When the economy dipped, no work. I was a housekeeper at a hotel downtown, waking up at 5 a.m., cleaning 15 rooms a day, coming home smelling like bleach and industrial soap, making $9 an hour. We had enough to pay rent, buy food, keep the lights on, but there was never extra. Miguel needed new shoes. His had holes in the soles. Sophia needed supplies for school. The car was making that sound again, the one that meant something expensive was about to break. We were always choosing, always saying, not this month, maybe next month. And the whole time, for a whole year, Javier was sending $200 a month to Mexico without telling me. I did not confront him right away. I waited. I needed to think. I needed to understand what I was feeling before I could put it into words. That night, after the kids went to bed, I sat at our small kitchen table. The bank statements were in my hands. Javier was in the living room watching TV. I said, "Javier, can you come here?" He came. He saw the papers. His face changed. I said, "What is this?" He said, "Rosa." I said, "You have been sending money to your mother for a year without telling me." He sat down. He did not look at me. He said, "She needed help. The roof was leaking. She had medical bills. What was I supposed to do?" I said, "I understand that she needed help, but we need help. Our children need help. Miguel's shoes have holes. Sophia's backpack is falling apart. And you are sending $200 a month to Mexico without even asking me?" He looked up. His eyes were hard. His voice was louder now. And then he said the words that still echo in my head 17 years later. "You don't understand, Rosa. She's my mother. I have to help her. You're not a real Mexican if you don't understand that." I felt like he had slapped me. He used my identity, my culture, my love for family, and he turned it into a weapon to make me feel guilty to make me feel like I was the bad one for asking. I did not yell. I wanted to. Dios mío, I wanted to. But I did not. I just said, "How did you do this? We have a joint account. I would have seen the transfers." He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I opened a second account, just for this. I deposited part of my paycheck there before the rest went into our account. Then I sent it to her." A second account. A secret account. For a whole year. While I was working 6 days a week, cleaning toilets, scrubbing bathtubs, wearing the same 3 shirts because I didn't think we could afford more. He was hiding money from me. He was lying to me. For 12 months. But here's what Javier never knew. What I never told him, not in 25 years of marriage, not even when he was dying. I had my own secret. For 3 years before I found those bank statements, I had been putting aside a small amount of money every month, $50, sometimes $100 if I had extra from tips or overtime. I kept it in a separate account, an emergency account, just in case. Just in case what? I don't know. I never let myself finish that thought. Just in case. By the time I found Javier's secret, I had $3,200 saved. He had hidden $2,400 from me. I was hiding $3,200 from him. What does that make me? A hypocrite? Maybe. Or maybe it makes me a woman who learned, somewhere along the way, that she needed to be able to take care of herself. I had discovered his secret by accident. He had discovered nothing about mine. And I was going to keep it that way. That night, I could not sleep. I lay in bed next to Javier. He was snoring. I was staring at the ceiling. I kept thinking, am I wrong? Should I have expected this? Should I have known? In our culture, you help your parents. You send money home. You take care of the people who raised you. I understood that. I had sent money to my own mother in Jalisco when I could. In fact, that same year, 2009, she had gotten sick, and I was already sending her $200 a month. Every dollar I had was going somewhere. But I always told Javier, we always decided together. This was different. This was a secret. This was a lie. This was a year of choosing to deceive me. And the worst part, the part that kept me awake at 3 a.m., was that he made me feel guilty for being hurt. You're not a real Mexican if you don't understand. He used my love against me. For 2 weeks, we barely spoke. He went to work. I went to work. We took care of the kids. We ate dinner at the same table. But there was a wall between us, made of silence, made of hurt, made of things we couldn't say. One night, Sophia asked me, "Mama, why are you and Papa not talking?" I said, "We're just tired, mija." She looked at me, 11 years old, already too smart. She said, "Are you mad at him?" I didn't answer. I just kissed her forehead and told her to go to bed. I talked to my friend Carmen at work. She cleaned rooms on the same floor as me. She had been married for 20 years. She understood. I told her everything, the statements, the secret account, the words he said. She listened. When I finished, she said, "Rosa, you have to decide. Can you forgive him? Can you trust him again? I said, I don't know. She said, then you need help. Someone to help you both see clearly, a counselor. I said, we can't afford a counselor. She said, the church has free counseling. Talk to someone there. I didn't want to go. I felt ashamed, like I had failed, like I couldn't keep my own marriage together. But I also couldn't keep living in that silence, with the anger, with the wall. So I asked Javier. I said, I want us to talk to someone, a counselor, at the church. He said, I don't need a counselor. I didn't do anything wrong. I looked at him. I said, you lied to me for a year. If you think that's nothing, then we have a bigger problem than I thought. He was quiet. Then he said, fine, I'll go, but this is a waste of time. Our first session was on a Tuesday evening. The counselor's name was Mr. Ramirez. He was maybe 50 years old, kind eyes. He spoke Spanish and English. He worked at the church helping families like us. He asked us to explain why we were there. I let Javier go first. Javier said, my mother needed help. I sent her money. Rosa is upset because I didn't tell her, but it's my money. I earned it. I should be able to do what I want with it. Mr. Ramirez wrote something down. Then he turned to me. He said, Rosa, what do you want to say? I took a breath. I said, it's not about the money. It's about the lie. We are partners. We make decisions together. He made a decision without me for a year. And when I found out, he made me feel like I was wrong for being hurt. Mr. Ramirez nodded. He looked at Javier. He said, Javier, do you understand why Rosa is hurt? Javier shrugged. He said, she's being dramatic. It's only $200 a month. Mr. Ramirez said, only $200? Over a year, that's $2,400. For a family living paycheck to paycheck, that is significant. But more than that, Rosa is not upset about the amount. She is upset about the secrecy, the lack of partnership, the broken trust. Do you see that? Javier did not answer. We went every week for 3 months, 12 sessions. Some sessions, Javier barely talked. Some sessions, we argued. Some sessions, we just sat in silence because the words hurt too much. But slowly, very slowly, things started to change. There was one session I'll never forget, the 5th one. Mr. Ramirez asked Javier, when you send money to your mother, how do you feel? Javier said, like I'm still a good son, like I didn't abandon her when I came to America. Mr. Ramirez said, and when Rosa found out and was upset, how did you feel? Javier was quiet for a long time. Then he said, so quietly I almost didn't hear, like I had abandoned someone else instead. That was the moment something cracked, in him, in us. He was carrying guilt for leaving Mexico, for not being there when his father died, for having a better life while his mother struggled. The money wasn't just money. It was his way of saying, I didn't forget you. I still love you. I'm still your son. I understood that. I did. But understanding didn't erase the hurt. What helped was hearing him finally see it, finally see what he had done to me, to us. In our last session, Mr. Ramirez asked Javier, "If you could do it again, would you do it differently?" Javier looked at me. His eyes were wet. He said, "Yes, I would have told Rosa. I would have asked her. We could have figured it out together." He took my hand. He said, "I'm sorry, Rosa. I was wrong. I should have been honest. I should have trusted you." It was the first time he said those words. "I'm sorry. I was wrong." I did not cry. I just nodded. I said, "Thank you." After counseling ended, things started to get better. Not perfect, but better. Javier closed the secret account. We opened a new joint account together. We sat down every month and looked at the bills. We talked about money. We made decisions together. We agreed that we could send $100 a month to his mother. Not 200, 100, and it would come from both of us. A family decision, not a secret. His mother was upset when the amount went down. She called. She asked why. And Javier said something that I know was hard for him. Because I have a family here too, and I have to take care of them first. The trust took longer to rebuild, much longer. For months, I would check the bank account every week, every transaction. What is this? Where did this go? Javier never got angry. He always answered. He knew he had to earn it back. And slowly, very slowly, I started to believe again. Not blindly, but carefully. About a year after the counseling ended, Javier came home with something, a small box. He handed it to me. He said, "Open it." Inside was a bracelet, silver, simple, with an engraving. Para Rosa, mi compañera, mi amor. For Rosa, my partner, my love. He said, "I know I broke something. I know it's not fully fixed. But I want you to know I see you, I value you, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to be the husband you deserve." I wore that bracelet every day until the day he died. Javier died in January 2020, 11 years after the secret, 11 years after we almost fell apart. Heart attack at work. One day he left in the morning, kissed me goodbye, said, "See you tonight." That night, 2 police officers knocked on my door. Those 11 years after the counseling were not perfect. We still argued. We still struggled. Money was still tight. But we were honest. We were partners. We made decisions together. And when he died, I did not have doubts. I knew he loved me. I knew he respected me. I knew he had changed. That is a gift, mijo, to lose someone and have no doubts about their love. Not everyone gets that. I never told Javier about my secret account, the $3,200 I had saved before I found his statements. After the counseling, after we rebuilt trust, I didn't stop saving. I kept adding to it, quietly, $50 here, $100 there, over the years. By the time Javier died, I had $8,500. That money paid for his funeral. That money kept me alive for 2 months when I couldn't get out of bed, when I was too sad to work, when the grief was so heavy I couldn't breathe. That money saved me. Some people might say I was wrong, that I was a hypocrite, that I was doing the same thing he did. Maybe. But I see it differently. His secret was about choosing his mother over our family. My secret was about making sure I could survive if everything fell apart. His secret was a betrayal. Mine was protection. Or maybe that's just what I tell myself. Maybe the truth is simpler. In marriage, we are partners, but we are also individuals. And sometimes you need something that is just yours. Something that says, I can take care of myself, no matter what happens. I don't think that makes me a bad wife. I think it makes me a survivor. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if I had never found those bank statements, if the secret had continued, if he had kept lying. Would we have survived? I don't know. But I'm glad I found them. I'm glad we faced it. I'm glad we got help. Because the truth is always better than a comfortable lie, even when it hurts, even when it breaks you first. The truth gives you a chance to rebuild. A lie just delays the collapse. I learned something in those years, something that cost me a lot of pain to understand. Trust is not something you give once. It is something you build every day, with every choice, with every honest word. And if someone breaks it, they have to earn it back, piece by piece, day by day. Javier did that for 11 years, until his last breath. And I loved him for it. If you're listening to this story, maybe you've been lied to by someone you love. Maybe you're carrying a secret of your own. Maybe you're wondering if trust can ever come back once it's broken. Here's what I know. You have a choice. You can leave. You can stay. You can forgive. You can hold on to the hurt. There is no right answer, only the answer that feels right for you. For me, I chose to stay. I chose to try, and I'm glad I did. But that doesn't mean you have to make the same choice. Your story is yours. Your pain is yours. Your decision is yours. Tell me your story in the comments. Have you ever had to rebuild trust after it was broken? Did you stay? Did you leave? And here's the harder question. Have you ever kept a secret from someone you love, not to hurt them, but to protect yourself? I want to hear. I always want to hear. Thank you for listening to an old woman's story. If it touched your heart, share it with someone who needs it. And if you want more stories like this one, subscribe. Click the bell. I'll be here. I'm always here. This is Tia Rosa from Houston, Texas, sending you love.